This is lesson 11, and we are talking about eighth notes today. This is a very, very important lesson that you be sure you watch the whole video to make sure you understand it all. Okay? So first of all, let me tell you a story. Bob and Jane went to the park. Bob and Jane are next door neighbors, and they were like super great friends. So they go down to the park, and they get to the park and they are playing on the seesaws, and then they're playing on the swings, and then they played like they would race to go all the way up to the top of the playground and slide down, and then all the way up to the top and slide down. Well, they played and played and played for a long time, and then they were getting tired. And Bob looks at Jane and he goes, "Jane, I am really hungry." And Jane's like, "Yeah, me too." And Bob goes, "You know what? I think that backpack that my mom told me to bring, I think she put a snack in there." So Bob goes over and he opens up his backpack, and guess what? He had such an awesome mom. She had put a snack in there. So he looks in there and he goes, "Oh, Jane, she only put one of everything in here. I only have one banana and one brownie and one cupcake and one granola bar." And so he's like, "But I think that's okay because I don't mind sharing. This is a lot of food and I don't mind sharing with you." And Jane's like, "Wow, that's really nice of you. My mom did get me a snack pack this morning. I think she was running late." So Bob's like, "No worries." So he pulls out the banana, a red banana, by the way, right? So here's the banana. And Bob breaks it in half. And he gives half to Jane. And of course, Jane had curly hair, right? There's Jane. And there's Bob. I'm a very good artist. Don't laugh. So he gives half to Jane, and he eats half. But before they eat it, he goes, "Well, let's go ahead and split everything else." So he has a cupcake here. So he cuts that in half and gives half to Jane, and he keeps half. Then he had a granola bar, and he cuts that in half. How much does he give to Jane? Half. How much does he keep? Yeah, half. What was the other thing he had? Oh, a brownie. Okay, so then he took his brownie, and he cut that in half. And he gave half to Jane, and he kept half. So they just had finished dividing everything up, and he looks over and he sees his mom waiting from the back deck saying, "Bob, you gotta come home. We gotta go to soccer practice." Or I should say violin practice. So he has to go to group class. It's time for group class. So Bob takes his half of the banana and his half of the cupcake, his half of the brownie, and let's see, the granola bar. Bob takes all of that, and the banana. He takes that home with him, okay? How much does Bob have? How much banana does Bob have? Half of it. How much granola bar? Half of it. How much brownie? Half. How much of the cupcake? Half. Okay. Jane, how much cupcake does Jane have? Does she have a whole cupcake? She has half. Half of a finger, right? Half. How much? Let's see, Jane. Such a good artist. Half of a brownie. Half of a granola bar. And then half of a banana. Okay? Jane has half and Bob has half. How many bananas were there? 1. How many pieces are there now? 2. How many cupcakes were there? 1. How many pieces are there? 2. Here's the brownie. How many brownies did we have? 1. How many pieces do we have now? 2. Okay? Each one of these is half. Each one of these is half, but there was only 1. How many beats does a quarter note get? When I cut that quarter note in half, so Bob can have half and Jane can have half. If we could eat quarter notes, okay, we would give this little thing right here is called a flag. This note gets half and this note gets half. These are called eighth notes, okay? And they get half of a beat. We have a quarter note which gets 1 beat. We have 1 beat, and when we cut it in half, we get 2 pieces, half and half. Okay? So, you get that? Quarter note has 1 beat. This is half of a beat and half of a beat. And we call them eighth notes. Okay? When we count them, we say 1 and. So this one gets 1 and this one gets and. Another way we can write this is we take their flags and we kind of join their flags together in what's called a beam. Like think about gymnastics, how you walk on this beam. So there's still 2 eighth notes, half and half. They share. Just like Bob and Jane shared all of their food, they share 1 beat and each note gets half. Okay? So, what if we write so this one gets half and this one gets half. They shared. This is like a whole nother beat here. This is a whole nother brownie. We cut it in half. This one gets half. This one gets half. So now we have 2 notes. Just like we had 2 pieces, but we still only have 1 beat. Half and half. Okay? When we clap these 2 eighth notes, we say 1 and. 1 and. 1 and. Okay? So, I'm going to tap it here because I can't hold it and clap. So, ready? If we go 1 and, 1 and, 1 and. Do that with me. So, you clap your hands together and say 1 and, 1 and, 1 and. Okay, now let's clap. I'm erasing my beams. Now let's clap and say their name, okay? This is 2 eighths, 2 eighths, 2 eighths. And you actually clap every time you see a note. 1 and, 2 eighths, okay? So do it with me. Ready? Let's say their names. Ready, go. 2 eighths, 2 eighths, 2 eighths. Now say their beats. So we're going to say 1 and, ready, go. 1 and, 1 and, 1 and. Okay? So, and how much does one of these eighth notes gets half of a beat? Okay? Now, just like when Jane or when Bob's mom said, hey, it's time for group class, you have to go home. When one of the eighth notes has to leave, that leaves me with half. Okay? So now, it's kind of like he's sad, and he's got a sad, droopy arm. We call it a flag. But when his friend left, there's nobody there to play with. So, he's sad. He has a sad, droopy arm. And it's only 1/8 instead of 2/8. And it's half, half, half. Okay, he gets half a beat. Half, because his other friend, Jane, took the other half home. Or, Jane, this is Jane, and Bob took the other half home. Okay, so half, half, half. Half of a beat. Or we can say eighth. Eighth, eighth, eighth. When we have two of them together, he's got half and she's got half. So together they have one beat. They share one. Up here, he went bye-bye. So now we just have half. 2/8. And it's half, half. Clap, clap. Up here, it's just clap, half. Okay? And the other half, you have to rest. Okay? So, looking at your page today, you're going to color in the note head. You've got the stem, the beams. Trace those, color in the note heads to make 2/8. Okay? Where they share one beat. Then on number 2, clap and say the eighth notes. So you're going to clap those 4 sets and go 2/8, 2/8, 2/8, 2/8. Really steady. Then, and you can even see I wrote clap, clap. Okay? Then you're going to clap and say their beats. 1 and, 1 and, 1 and, 1 and. Now, moms and dads, sometimes it's helpful if you point to the music trail. Okay, here's the trail of notes, and while they clap, if you point and go, they say 1 and, 1 and, 1 and, 1 and. Okay, it's just when there are so many in a row, sometimes it's helpful to have a finger to help our eyes track. Okay, Bob went home and Jane is left. So we have single eighth notes here. So trace them, draw the flag, and color in the note head. Okay? You don't have to color the flag extra thick. That's just the way this font works. Okay? Then you're going to clap these and say eighth, 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 eighth. And then you can clap them and say how many beats they get. Half, 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 half. Okay? On the second page, underneath each note, write how many beats it gets. Okay, so the first one is a half note. How many beats does a half note get? Write that in the blank under that note. The next one is a quarter note. How many beats does that get? Write that in the blank under that note. Okay? Then, down here, these are 3 Suzuki songs that you should know. Can you clap them? Figure out how to clap them. Quarter, 2/8, quarter, 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 2/8, quarter. And can you figure out what song that is? So clap them and say their names or their beats. 1, 1 and 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 and 1. What is that song? Okay, and write those in. Then on the next page, we're supposed to have 2 beats in this measure. Here's a quarter note. That gets 1. Then an eighth note gets half. What kind of note do I need to put right here to finish the measure? If I need 2 and I have 1 and a half, what kind of note should you draw here to fill in the measure? So every time there's a little star, you need to draw a note there. You have to figure out which one to do. Okay? Someone hammering a nail. Is that forte, mezzo forte, mezzo piano, or piano? What about a choo-choo train coming through, blowing its whistle? See all that steam? Forte, mezzo piano, piano. A watch ticking. Is that forte, mezzo piano, or piano, and then a chainsaw. What do you think? Then fingerboard power, write in the letters for the A string. What's first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger? Don't forget, this is not C. It is C sharp. So many of you are forgetting to put those sharps there. It's something completely different. So be sure you write that sharp in. Okay? That's it for this week. Hey, Thanksgiving is next week, and so we don't have group class and we don't have any theory class. So have a great Thanksgiving. Eat lots of turkey, lots of stuffing, pumpkin pie if you like it. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks.